Chapter 5. The Roundabout Land. One big broad branch damn it. Alright, they're actually acting it out right now. She's at the top of the faraway tree. One big broad branch slanted upwards at the top of the faraway tree. Joe climbed onto it and looked down. But he could see nothing, for a white mist swirled around and about. Above him, the enormous thick white cloud stretched with a purple hole in it, through which the topmost branches of the faraway tree disappeared. The children felt tremendously excited. At last, they were at the very top. Joe carefully pulled himself up the last branch, and he disappeared into the purple hole. Bessie and Fanny followed him. The branch came to an end. And a little ladder ran through the cloud. Sorry, at last they were at the very top. Joe carefully pulled himself up the last branch and disappeared into the purple hole, and Bessie and Fanny followed him. The branch came to an end, and a little ladder ran up through the cloud. Up the children went, and before they knew what had happened, there they were out in the sunshine, in a new and very strange land. They stood on green grass. Above them was a blue sky. A tune was playing somewhere, going on and on and on. The sort of tune that a roundabout plays, Joe, said Bessie, isn't it? It was. And then, suddenly, without any warning at all, the whole land began to swing around. The children almost fell over. So suddenly did the swing round begin. What's happening? Said Bessie, frightened. The children felt terribly giddy, for trees, distant houses, hills, and bushes began to move round. And they too felt themselves moving, for the grass was going round as well. They looked for the hole in the cloud, but it had disappeared. Holy shit, it's another fucking day. It's the best day ever again. Cause I'm a stupid fucking cat and I don't know shit. Anyways. The whole land was going round and round like a roundabout. Oops, it wasn't passive voice. The whole land is going round and round like a roundabout, cried Joe, shutting his eyes with giddiness. We've passed over the hole in the clouds, and we don't know where the topmost branch of the faraway tree is now. It's somewhere beneath this land, but goodness knows where. Joe, how can we get back home again? Cried Fanny in a fright. I'll have to ask someone for help, said Joe. The three began to walk away from the patch of green field in which they were standing. Jem. Okay, I gotta put the kittens away. Like, probably no. The crazy thing is, Jem was a mother once, and she was actually a very good mother. And now she just beats up children. Many such cases. Okay. And I would put Jem away, but I'm actually afraid she'll kill me because there's a lot going on. And I don't want to get gouged by a cat today. Okay. The kittens are teasing her. I will point that out. They do not understand. They think it's great fun. I'll let chaos reign as long as nobody gets hurt. Hi, my favorite. Oh my god, I love her fur. Looks like static. It looks like static, you know? Okay, static waves. The three began to walk away from the patch of green field in which they were standing. Bessie noticed that they had been standing on a ring of grass that seemed darker than the grass around it. She wondered why that was. But she had no time to say anything, for really it was dreadfully difficult to walk properly in a land that was going round and round like a proper roundabout all the time. The music went on and on, too. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy. Joe wondered where it came from, and where the machinery was that worked the strange roundabout land. Soon they met a tall man singing loudly from a book. Joe stopped him, but he went on singing. It was annoying. Hi diddle, ho diddle, derry derry down, shouted the man whilst Joe tried to make himself heard. How can we get away from this land? Joe shouted. Don't interrupt me. Hi diddle, ho diddle, sang the man, and he beat time with his finger. Joe caught a hold of the bony finger and shouted again. Which way is out of this land? And what land is it? Now you've made me lose my time, said the man crossly. I shall have to begin my song again. What is this land, please? Asked Fanny. It's roundabout land, said the tall man. I should have thought anyone would have guessed that. You can't get away from it. It goes round and round and round always, and only stops once in a blue moon. There must have been a blue moon when we climbed into it, groaned Joe. It had certainly stopped then. The man went off singing loudly. Hi diddle, ho diddle, derry, derry down. Silly old diddle derry, said Fanny. Really, we do seem to meet the most peculiar people. What I'm worried about is getting home, said Bessie. Mother will be anxious if we're not back when she is. What shall we do, Joe? Let's sit down under this tree and have a bit more to eat, said Joe. Damn, bro, now is not the time for lunch. Dude said dilly dally shilly shally. I love everything. Thank you guys. Well, let's sit down under this tree and have a bit more to eat, said Joe. So they sat down and munched solemnly, hearing the roundabout music going on all the time, and watching the distant hills and trees swinging round against the sky. It was all very strange. Presently, a pair of rabbits lolloped up and looked at the children. Lollop. I think that's what the cats were doing. They were lolloping up and down the whole house. It was crazy. Anyways, suddenly a pair of rabbits lolloped up. Presently, a pair of rabbits lolloped up and looked at the children. Fanny loved animals, and she threw a bit of cake at them. Bum ba ba bum bum ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum da dang da da dang da dingy dong ding blue moon. Okay, so imagine that's like playing the whole time this scene is happening too. And then presently a pair of rabbits lolloped up and looked at the children. Fanny loved animals, and she threw a bit of cake at them. To her surprise, one of the rabbits picked up the cake in its paw and nibbled it like a monkey. Thanks, said the rabbit. It's like a fever dream. Thanks, said the rabbit. This is a change from grass. Where do you come from? We haven't seen one of you before, and we thought we knew everyone round here. Nobody new ever comes to Roundabout Land. And nobody ever gets away, said the other rabbit, smiling at Fanny and holding out its paw for a piece of cake too. Really? Said Betsy in alarm. Well, we are new to it, for we only came about an hour ago. We came up the faraway tree. What? Cried both rabbits at once, flipping up their long ears in amazement. Up the faraway tree, did you say? Goodness, you don't mean to say that thing's touching this land? Yes, it is, said Bessie. But I expect that as this land is swinging round and around, that the topmost branch might be almost anywhere underneath it. There's no way of finding out. Oh, yes, there is, said the first rabbit excitedly. If we burrow down a little way and make a hole, we can see whereabouts the faraway tree is underneath, and we can wait for it to come around again, when the land swings above it. Well, we came up from the tree just where the grass was rather darker than the rest, said Bessie. I noticed that. Do you suppose that as the roundabout land swings round, it'll come back to the same place again, and we could slip down the topmost branch? Of course, said the rabbits. We can easily burrow down that green patch of grass and wait for the land to turn round just over the tree again. Come on, quickly, there's no time to lose. All of them jumped up and sped off. Bessie knew the way, and so did the rabbits. Soon they were back in the field where the ring of dark grass stood. There was no opening now, leading through a cloud down to the tree. It had gone. The rabbits began to dig quickly. Soon they found the ladder that led upwards. Then they made such a big hole that the children could see down into the large white cloud that swirled below the roundabout land. Nothing there yet, said the first rabbit, getting out a handkerchief and wiping his dirty front paws. We must wait a bit. I only hope the land hasn't swung on and passed the faraway tree altogether. The roundabout music went on and on. And then, suddenly, it began to slow down. One of the rabbits peeped out of the hole below and gave a shout. The land has stopped going round, and the faraway tree is just nearby, but we can't reach it. The children peered through the cloud below the ladder and saw quite clearly that the faraway tree was very near, but not near enough to jump on. Whatever were they to do? Now don't try to jump, warned the rabbits, or you'll fall right through the cloud. But what shall we do? Asked Bessie in despair. We must get on the tree before we swing away again. I've got a rope, said one of the rabbits suddenly, and he put his hand into a big pocket and pulled out a yellow rope. He made a loop in one end and then threw it carefully at the topmost branch of the nearby tree. It caught and it held. Good. Fanny, slip down the rope first. Said Joe, I'll hold this end. So Fanny, rather afraid, slipped down the yellow rope to the tree. And then, just as she got there, the roundabout music began to play very loudly and quickly, and the roundabout land began to move. Quick, quick, shouted Fanny as the land swung nearer to the faraway tree. Jump, jump! They jumped, and the rabbits jumped after them. The roundabout land swung off. The big white cloud covered everything again. The children and the rabbits clung to the topmost branch and looked at one another. We look like monkeys on a stick, said Joe, and they all began to giggle. My goodness, what an adventure. I vote we never come up here again. But as you may guess, they did. Okay, she's gonna actually break things. Anyways, that was chapter 4 and 5 of The Enchanted Wood. Thank you. And next week we will read Moonface and the Slippery Slip, which also is another one of my favorite concepts. Moonface. Oh, okay. Sitting on the floor for too long. And thank you. And also, I have to pee again. And also, Jesus Christ.